Hi all, we're going to talk about the double angle identity and how it's used today. So the first thing you need to know is what are the double angle identities? Well, those are them right there. So for sine of 2x, you're going to have 2 sine x cosine x. For cosine of 2x, you have 3 options to choose from. And sine and tan 2x, I don't have over here. But we do know that tangent is the same as sine divided by cosine. So if you knew these two, to find tangent, you would do whatever you got for sine divided by whatever you got for cosine. So these are the examples that we're going to start with today. Let's find the exact values of sine 2x, cosine 2x, and tan 2x. So I'm going to go ahead and write the identity of each one. So sine of 2x, the identity is 2 sine x cosine x. That means that we need to know what sine x and cosine x are. Well, right now we just have cotangent of x. So we can use that to find sine and cosine. And we do have some other identities that we can use. So like if I look over here, I have 1 plus cotangent squared x equals cosecant squared x. So I'm going to use that identity to actually help myself out. So 1 plus cotangent squared of x equals cosecant squared of x. So 1 plus negative 12 over 35 squared equals cosecant squared of x. And then I can use the calculator to actually determine what those are. And we want to keep things as exact as possible. So I'm going to have 1 plus negative 12 divided by 35 squared, and then I can go ahead and change that to a fraction. So I get 1369 over 1225, and that is cosecant squared of x. So now I can square root that to get cosecant. So I do end up with cosecant of x equals 37 over 35. Now here's where we have to be careful because we square rooted. Remember, there's an implied plus or minus anytime you square root. So do we take the positive one or the negative one? Well, since I'm looking at cosecant of x, I can come up here and look at this right here and say, okay, I am between 0 and negative pi over 2. So x is down here. And if you remember, all students take calculus, which helps you out determining if things are positive or negative. So if I'm down here, the only thing that's positive is cosine. Well, cosine and its reciprocal, which would be secant. That means cosecant is negative. So I got to make sure I have that negative there. Now, if I know cosecant of x is this, that means its reciprocal, which would be sine of x, would be a negative 35 over 37. So there's one of them that I have. And I still need the cosine as well. So once I have sine, I can find cosine. So I do know that if I did cotangent would be cosine divided by sine, and I should get this. So you could definitely use that identity. So I'd have negative 12 over 35, which is my cotangent, equals cosine over sine, which is this negative 35 over 37. So I could multiply this over to this side. 2 negatives cancel, the 35s cancel, and I'd be left with cosine of x equals a positive 12 over 37. And these are the two things I need to be able to find all those double angle identities. So once I have that, then I can actually set up and find sine of 2x. So to find sine of 2x, I'm going to do 2 times sine, which is this negative 35 over 37, times cosine, which is 12 over 37. And so then I can actually do that in the calculator and try to leave your answers as a fraction. So 2, negative 35 over 37, and 12 over 37. So remember, our shortcut way of doing this is math inner inner. So we end up with a negative 840 over 1,369. So that is sine of 2x. So we found our first one. Now we have to find cosine. So now we want to find cosine of 2x. And to find cosine of 2x, we have three choices to choose from. It really doesn't matter which one we choose. You will get the same answer with all of them. However, one of these bottom two, I only have to plug in one thing. So I'm probably going to use this very bottom one, just because that's the one I prefer to use. You could use any of those three and you'll get the exact same thing. So the very bottom one is 2 cosine squared of x minus 1. So 2 cosine of x is this one down here. So I've got 12 over 37 squared minus 1. And now this is what I type into the calculator again. So 12 over 37 squared minus 1. Math inner inner. So once again, I have a nice long fraction here. It's negative 1,081 over 1,369. And that is what cosine of 2x equals. And like I said, there is an identity for tan of 2x, but I actually prefer to think of just the general tangent identity, which means this would be sine of 2x divided by cosine of 2x, because I've already found these two things. They're both right here. So if I were to set that up, I would have negative 840 over 1369 over negative 1081 over 1369. And dividing by a fraction would be the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. Two negatives do make a positive. So I'm going to go ahead and write out all this work. Once you understand how this works, Once you understand how this works, it actually goes a little bit quicker than what I'm going to show here. But I'm going to show you the steps so you can see how it works. All right, I can cancel diagonally, and then I'm left with this right here, and I multiply straight across. So I'd have 840 over 1081. And that is my tan of 2x. So now I have found all three. I have found sine of 2x, tan of 2x, cosine of 2x, and these would be my three answers that I'm looking for in this problem. So that's a quick and easy way, not so much easy or quick, but that's the way you use double angle identities to find exact values of trig functions.